This is stop number 8 on my training camp trip. I spent the day with the Browns. I got 5 takeaways. Takeaway number 1, the quarterback situation is not even. It is an open competition still, but it's pretty clear the way that this thing is trending. All 4 quarterbacks still alive. Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco worked with the first team. They also worked with the second team, but those guys got the bulk of the first team work. Dillon Gabriel got some first team spots. And then Shedeur Sanders was mostly with the backup. So what do we take from that? Well, clearly the 2 veteran players are ahead. Pickett went down the other day. He should be out about a week. That's going to increase the opportunity for Dillon Gabriel to work with the first team. I still think the likelihood is one of the 2 veteran players starts. Joe Flacco is very steady and could bring a veteran presence to the offense. Kenny Pickett would add a little bit of a run element. They do believe that at some point Dillon Gabriel is going to be ready to play. Like they'll feel comfortable putting him out there in a game. He's trending in that direction. Shedeur Sanders still has a ways to go. He was pretty far behind the other guys at the beginning of OTAs. He's closed the gap some, but not nearly enough. So right now, I think the likelihood is a veteran starts. We could see Dillon Gabriel at some point later in the year. Takeaway number 2, tight end Harold Fannin, a rookie out of Bowling Green, would be one to watch. He's somebody who's flashed early. And a big question for the Browns offense is who the third receiver is going to be. With Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, likely the 2 starters. Well, if they have 2 tight ends out there more often, that mitigates the third receiver question at least a little bit. And Fannin looks like he could be a really nice complement to David Njoku, with Njoku playing the more traditional wide tight end spot and Fannin likely the move tight end. Takeaway number 3, if there's a position where they're going to add over the course of the summer, it'd probably be the tackle spot. DeJuan Jones looks functional and serviceable as the left tackle. I don't know if he'll wind up being a great left tackle. He's getting a lot of great work in against Myles Garrett, going up against him basically on every snap. At right tackle, you got veteran Jack Conklin. Both these guys have had injury issues, and the real problem for the Browns is the lack of depth behind those 2. So they could look to add. Takeaway number 4, if there's a rookie who's really stood out, and I already mentioned Fannin to you, a 2nd-round pick, Carson Schlesinger, I would not be surprised if he winds up wearing the green dot as the signal caller for the defense. He's been a godsend for them with Jordan Hicks having retired, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah away from the team with injury this year. To me, Schlesinger is one of the guys that comes up most often. Very heady player, very instinctive player, and big and fast and long. Basically has everything you'd want in an off-ball linebacker. I'd expect him to start. And again, I think he could wind up being the green dot for the defense. Finally, takeaway number 5, if there's a position group that they're looking at and they're really happy with right now as far as where it is versus where it was at the end of last year, I'd look at that defensive line. Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett, but they have 2 new defensive tackles in Malik Collins and Mason Graham, who is the 5th overall pick. Those 2 guys both look like they could toggle back and forth between the nose and the 3 technique, which is necessary in Jim Schwartz's defense. Both those guys look like they'll be able to create chaos in the backfield. And then opposite Garrett, they're optimistic about a reclamation project in Joe Tryon. And then another young player they have who's come along is Isaiah McGuire. So overall, they feel like that group's come a long way from where they were at the end of the year and going into the off season, and could wind up being the strongest unit on the team. My last stop in this part of the country will be tomorrow in Buffalo. We'll see you guys then.